Welcome to Monday, everyone, to our TRT Tap and Release session with Dan and Kasha.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And today we're going to be tapping and releasing on the feeling of trust and trusting ourselves and trusting others. So we're quite excited and eager to move forward on this topic. It's a big one.
Yes.
And it has a lot of emotional impact associated with it. There's a lot of feeling that goes on in relationship to trust and trusting ourselves.
Most definitely. I believe you and I were just talking about just before the show here was how do you, it's learning how to trust whenever there's so many different narratives playing and so many different stories playing out as we look out in our world and which one is true. And so we have to go into learning in how to trust ourselves, because it's in the trusting of ourselves that's the most important thing. Our own intuition is going to guide us to the truth always.
Absolutely. And one of the ways we've discovered is that the whole concept of trusting yourself, although it feels like it should just be innate and it should be just a natural part of who we are, for many of us actually it's quite a challenge to feel like we actually can believe in ourselves and we actually can feel confident as we move forward. And one of the reasons that is the case is because so many of us have gotten traumatized early on in life. And so at the very beginning, when we were building our trust in the world, that is when our actual trust was broken. And because of that, it leaves within us and within many people a feeling like they can't trust themselves, and they're actually afraid to trust themselves. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
Let's begin.
Yeah, which brings us to our first release. So everyone, let's just take a moment.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, please, if you could just take a moment, get comfortable, and take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and out through a nice relaxed jaw. And relax your body. And again, deep breath in, breathing in through the nose, and let it out. Beautiful. One more time. Deep breath in and release. So TRT is a participatory technique, so we encourage you to join us and to gain the cumulative effect of working together.
Absolutely. So our first one we're going to tap on is being afraid to trust in ourselves. So even though, on the side of the hand, even
though
I'm afraid to trust in myself,
I'm afraid
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I'm afraid to trust in myself,
even though I'm afraid to trust in myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I'm afraid to trust myself,
even though I'm afraid to trust myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Now on the forehead, I release myself.
I release myself.
From feeling afraid to trust myself.
From feeling afraid to trust myself. On the top of the head, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the ways I don't trust myself.
From all the ways I don't trust myself. On the back of the head, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all that programming.
From all that programming.
That made me afraid to trust my own guidance.
That made me afraid to trust my own guidance. Under the eyes, everyone. I now release my... Oh, sorry. Over the ears, everyone. I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the things I've heard.
From all the things I've heard.
That make me not trust myself.
That make me not trust myself. I release myself.
I release myself.
From all those things I've seen.
From all those things I've seen.
That made me afraid to trust myself.
That made me afraid to trust myself. Under the nose, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all those things I've said.
From all those things I've said.
That have made me lose trust in myself.
That made me lose trust in myself. On the chin, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From telling that old story.
From telling that old story.
About not trusting myself.
About not trusting myself. On the collarbones, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
And I release my body.
And I release my body.
Every single cell.
Every single cell.
From not trusting myself.
From not trusting myself. I am a good person.
I am a good person. I am compassionate.
I am compassionate. I am loving.
I am loving. I am more than.
I am more than.
And I trust myself.
I trust myself.
Yeah, beautiful. Take a big breath, everyone.
Good one, Kasia.
Yeah, TRT is a very gentle process, but it works the best when you're addressing things in the moment. So as you take these releases that we go through and you go through them one by one, and even if you have an opportunity to come back and do them over and over again, you'll gain benefit each and every single time as you address more and more things that come out. Yeah.
So one of the things that where we've fallen short, I guess, in our ability to trust is feeling let down by others, where somebody has in the past they have betrayed our trust on us, and we felt let down by them.
And again, that brings us back to those beginning experiences early on in childhood, where those first times of our trust being broken were so hurtful and in fact so detrimental that it actually reshaped our relationship with how we interact with people. And then over time, of course, as things happened, we begin to lose trust in ourselves and in the people around us. And again, it's a hard topic to even talk about, isn't it?
Well, it's an interesting one.
It's an
There is no
interesting
doubt.
topic, yeah.
So on the side of the hand. Even though I feel let down by others,
I sometimes feel let down by others,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though sometimes I feel let down by others,
Even though sometimes I feel let down by others,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though sometimes I feel let down by others,
Even though sometimes I feel let down by others,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
On the forehead. I now release myself
I now release myself
from this feeling of being let down by others.
from this feeling of being let down by others. On the top of the head, I now release myself
I now release myself
from all the negative thoughts I have
from all the negative thoughts I have
that make me feel let down by others.
that make me feel let down by others. I now release myself
I now release myself
from feeling let down by others
from feeling let down by others
and not trusting them anymore.
and not trusting them anymore. I now release myself
I now release myself
from all those things I've heard
from all those things I've heard
that have broken my trust
that have broken my trust
and made me feel let down by others.
and made me feel let down by others. I release myself
I release myself
from feeling let down by others.
from feeling let down by others. Under the nose, I now release myself
I now release myself
from all those things said
from all those things said
that made me feel let down by others.
that made me feel let down by others. I now release myself
I now release myself
from feeling let down by
from
others
feeling let down by others
and not trusting in my own intuition.
and not trusting in my own intuition. And on the collarbones, I now release myself
I now release myself
and I release my body
and I release my body
from all those old stories
from all those old stories
of being let down by others.
of being let down by others. I am glorified.
I am glorified. I support myself.
I support myself. I am more than that.
I am more than that. I am love.
I'm okay. I am love.
Yeah.
And I'm okay now.
And I'm okay now.
Guided and protected.
Guided and protected. Take a deep breath, everyone. So I wanted to address just for a moment with our friends, because I believe every day, every time that we do this show, and every time we meet you here in this live format, we're always meeting each other at a different point in space and time, and there's different things happening in our world and in the environment around us. And we've had some really big energy shifts in the last even few hours, and there's a lot of emotion and a sense of detachment going around, and a feeling of being disconnected from the things that generally make you feel excited and happy, and just kind of feeling a general kind of dullness in our emotions. So when that happens, when we have big energetic pulses, sometimes it can disrupt that beautiful flow between what we would consider our conscious mind and what we would consider our unconscious, intuitive mind, what we would. And when that happens, it can give us the impression that we're actually disconnected from our inner guidance, when in actuality we're not really disconnected, we're just having a little bit of static in our frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So our next release, on the side of the hand.
Yeah, is for not trusting your own inner guidance. Yeah, so please join us. We're doing so well. You're doing so well. On the side of your hands.
Even though I'm always second-guessing myself,
even though I'm always second-guessing myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though it seems like I second-guess myself,
even though it seems like I second-guess myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I always feel like I'm second-guessing myself,
even though I always feel like I'm second-guessing myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I now release myself.
I now release myself
from not trusting in my own guidance.
From not trusting in my own guidance.
And always second-guessing myself.
And always second-guessing myself. I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the things I think.
From all the things I think.
That make me second-guess myself.
That make me second-guess myself. On the back of the head, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From not trusting in my own guidance.
From not trusting in my own guidance.
And second-guessing myself.
And second-guessing myself. Over the ears, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the ways that I've second-guessed myself.
From all the ways I second-guess myself. Underneath the eye. I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From not trusting in my own guidance.
From not trusting in my own guidance.
And second-guessing my decisions.
And second-guessing my decisions. I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From not listening to my inner guidance.
From not listening to my inner guidance.
And second-guessing myself.
And second-guessing myself. I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From not trusting in my own guidance.
From not trusting in my own guidance.
And second-guessing my own intuition.
And second-guessing my own intuition. On the collarbones, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the sensations in my body.
From all the sensations in my body.
Of doubting myself.
Of doubting myself.
And second-guessing myself.
Second-guessing myself. Can I do another one here?
Yes.
I release myself.
I release myself.
From always questioning the first voice.
From always questioning the first voice, which is my intuition.
It is my intuition. I am learning to trust my own guidance.
I am learning to trust my own guidance. I am learning to listen to my own wisdom.
I am learning to listen to my own wisdom. I am learning to trust in myself.
I am learning to trust in myself.
It's a little shaky at times.
Yeah, but I'm getting there.
I'm getting
there. And I'm doing a really good job.
Really good job.
And if you're still here tapping with us, give yourself a really good pat on the back. Absolutely. You know, one of the biggest things that we see in our practice is that TRT, tapping and release, has a very high success rate when you follow through. So when you are willing to put in a little bit of extra time and devotion in your own direction, what you're going to find is that innate trust begins to build up, because you're going to show yourself little by little that you actually can manage your own emotions. And when you manage your own emotions, you're going to begin to trust innately, which comes up very naturally, like floating, your own wisdom and your own sense of right and wrong for you at any one time.
Yes, because I guess what's happened along the way is because our trust, we've been taught to second guess ourselves. We've been taught to always try and think our way out of the problem instead of feel our way out of the problem. But we understand the guidance system feels and the brain thinks. And sometimes the brain can only think because of the stories, the old stories that it replays. That's its basis of history. It teaches from history instead of teaching from the feeling. The feeling is your guidance. But sometimes, you know, what happens along the way is that you know, somebody else did something to us somewhere along the way, and we kind of broke our trust in them and ourselves too.
Yeah, and you'll notice in our releases tonight that we're kind of circling back in and out of two things: trusting the self and trusting others, trusting the self and trusting others. And one of the things we're seeing right now, as everyone's coming up in their natural innate evolution, is that we're beginning to be able to feel each other more intimately and more telepathically, would be the best word to use. And because of that, we're also having to learn how to trust each other based on the emotions we're feeling in real time. So we have to trust each other that we're going to take care of our own emotional inner turmoil and not send out that energy and basically be sharp with others just because we're not feeling okay. So again, circle back to that building the faith in ourselves and in trusting others.
Very good. Even though
you're doing great, friends.
sometimes I don't trust other people.
Sometimes I don't trust other people.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I seem to have some difficulty trusting others.
Even though I seem to have some difficulty trusting others.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though sometimes I don't always trust other people.
I don't always trust other people.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
On the forehead, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From not trusting others.
From not trusting others. On the top of the head, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the ways I don't trust others.
From all the ways I don't trust others.
Because they hurt me.
Because they hurt me. I now release myself on the back of the head.
I now release myself.
From not trusting others.
From not trusting others.
They have a guidance system too.
They have a guidance system too. I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the ways that I've been hurt.
From all the ways that I've been hurt.
That make it hard for me to trust.
That make it hard for me to trust others. I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From not trusting.
Under the nose, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the things that have been said.
From all the things that have been said.
That make it hard for me to trust others.
That make it hard for me to trust others. I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From not trusting others.
From not trusting others.
From not using my own guidance system.
From not using my own guidance system. On the collarbone, I now release myself.
I now release myself.
From all the ways that I don't trust other people.
From all the ways I don't trust other people.
It's safe for me to feel.
It's safe for me to feel. It is.
Yeah,
I'm a good person.
I'm a good person. We're all good people.
I can trust in myself.
I can trust in myself.
Life is always working out for me.
Life is always working out for me. Wonderful. Well
Beautiful
done,
job.
everyone. Keep going. Deep breath. Keep going. Keep building that momentum. Keep building the habit. One of the things you'll find with any practice is that whatever you decide to carry through from day to day will be the thing that will get better and stronger and greater. So if you decide that TRT, tapping and release, is your thing and you want to see the best results, then make a commitment to begin tapping every day. Every day, in whatever moment you can grab it and catch attention to whatever you're feeling. So it's like I have to say today, because when the energy is high, when people are off, when things are happening in your world that don't quite make sense, when things are upsetting you and unsettling you and making you feel like you can't trust your environment, you can't trust your government, you can't trust your neighbor, okay? So when those feelings begin to bubble up inside you, there has to be something that you can ultimately reach for. What we reach for here in our life is TRT and, of course, each other.
Yes.
And so we encourage you likewise to reach for the tools that work for you and for the love that you have in your life, but to be consistent with your reaching. So make sure you decide. So today, if it works for you and you like the results, then make a decision to carry it through into the next day. Even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, make a pact with yourself that you're going to rebuild your own trust, and thereby you'll start to build more trust in the world around you.
And trusting in the process of life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good one. Let's start on that.
Wow. Well, that was right in
Nice
there.
segment.
Did you want to say anything about that before we jump in?
No, just jump right in.
Well, because you know what? We trust the process
We
of
trust
life.
the process of life. There you go.
And we invite you to join us as well.
On the side of the hand. Even though I don't always trust the process of life.
I don't always trust the process of life.
Maybe I'm thinking things aren't working out for me.
Maybe I'm thinking things aren't working out for
I
me.
deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I don't always trust the process of life.
even though I don't always trust the process of life.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I don't always trust the process of life.
Even though I don't always trust the process of life.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
On the forehead, I now release myself.
I now release myself
From not trusting the process of life.
from not trusting the process of life. I now release myself
I now release myself
from all those things I think
from all those things I think
that make it hard for me to trust the process of life.
make it hard for me to trust the process of life. On the back of the head, I now release myself
I now release myself
from all those programs and stories
from all those programs and stories
that have betrayed my trust.
that have betrayed my trust. Over the years, friends, I now release myself
I now release myself
from all those hurtful things I've heard
from all those hurtful things I've heard
that make it hard for me to trust the process of my
that
own
make it
life.
hard for me to trust the process of life. I now release myself
I now release myself
from not trusting the process of life.
from not trusting the process of life. Under the nose, I now release myself
I now release myself
from all the ways I don't trust the process of my life.
from all the ways I don't trust the process of life. I now release myself
I now release myself
from not trusting my own guidance,
from not trusting my own guidance,
from not trusting in the process.
from not trusting in the process. I now release myself
I now release myself
and I release my body
and I release my body
from all these difficult
from
sensations
all these difficult sensations
built up in me
built up in me
because I don't trust the process of
because I
my
don't
life.
trust the process of life. Trust the plan.
Trust the plan. Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
Know that you're good
Know that you're good
and worthy
and worthy.
because you are.
I matter.
I matter.
I'm a good person.
I'm a good person.
And all good things are coming my way.
And all good things are coming my way.
The world is good.
The world is good.
People are good.
People are good. You,
You
are
are
good.
good.
I
I
am
am
good.
good. Very
Beautiful. Take a big breath, everyone. And give yourself a really big pat on the back, everyone. You've done so well. And we're always so excited when you join us and release
Yes.
and help to collectively let go of some of this tension that we're all feeling to at least some degree.
So we want to thank you for your time this evening and thank you for joining us. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach us, of course, here at Give Up Pain Now on Facebook, on YouTube, Give Up Pain Now. You can connect with us through Messenger, and you know, if there are things in there, there's challenges that you want to address and you need some help, we're here to help you.
Most definitely. And if you'd like to have something particular that we focus as a theme for our releases, please reach out to us. We'd love to have your input. We'd like to know what kind of things you're feeling challenged with and what kind of things you might need a little bit of help with. So reach out anytime. We love you. We so appreciate you. Thank you so much for every single person who's here with us tonight.
Yes.
And for all of you watching us on the replay, please enjoy the releases. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
We love you so much.
We'll see you soon.
Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.